Are we ready to go? Great. All right. Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone online. Welcome everyone in the room to this Solutions Studio session from Commitment to Impact, Lessons from Leaders Coordinating Efforts to End Violence Against Women and Girls. My name is Erin Kenny. I am the Global Coordinator of the United Nations Spotlight Initiative to End Violence Against Women and Girls. We are the UN's high-impact initiative to end violence against women and girls, the largest ever single effort of its kind that takes a comprehensive approach around the world to end this human rights violation. We've been operational since 2017, and we were really set out to do three things all at once. We were set out to end violence against women and girls. We were set out to show how ending violence against women and girls can drive change across all of the Sustainable Development Goals. And really importantly, we were set out to reform the UN. And to do that, we very intentionally centered our programs around the leadership and coordination of our UN resident coordinators. And we found through our many years now of implementation that leadership and the orientation of our programs around the authority and accountability of UN resident coordinators was really essential for the success of these efforts. I'm so happy to be joined today by two of these leaders. I've got Serafine Wakana, who is with our Sierra Leone program. She's the resident coordinator there. We've just launched a program there, and she'll be talking about the secrets to launching a new program in this environment and what she was able to do, how she was able to leverage commitments across a multi-sectoral group of actors and from the European Union in this environment to get new funding into her country for ending violence against women and girls. And Carla Hershey, who's the resident coordinator for Samoa, talking about work to end violence against women and girls in the context of Samoa and really using innovative partnerships there in sports and in other sectors, and also working in a context that is historically quite underfunded. You know, small island states really traditionally do not get this kind of funding, and kind of what that has actually meant for a context like Samoa. We have a half an hour for this. I have three questions for both of my panelists, and if we have time, I hope we get a chance to take questions from the audience. I'm going to jump right in. Okay, so the first question is for the RC for Sierra Leone, for Serafine. You have recently launched a Spotlight Initiative program in Sierra Leone. Congratulations. Please tell us what is working well in the early stages of the program. It's just 6 months old, so we'll be kind.
Thank you very much and for giving me this opportunity to talk about the Spotlight Initiative in Sierra Leone. As you mentioned, we are just in the early stage of implementation, but we do see meaningful benefits of the program, and I just wanted to flag three of them. Since we started, we have seen strong collaboration between stakeholders. The UN agencies, the civil society organizations, the government, they are all working together toward the common goal of ending violence against women and girls. We are also seeing shift in mindset of local leaders and community leaders, changing their mind in how they see gender-based violence. And this is a good opportunity for us to understand the dynamics and also the structures within the communities to be able to implement better our program. Last but not least, our strong collaboration with government, who are now committed to align the Spotlight Initiative within the existing structures and laws and platforms. This is going to help us consolidate on what we have achieved already through other programs. You know, there are a lot of initiatives happening, but Spotlight is unique in its type because we are looking at integrating approaches and building on the existing platforms for better delivery. So I'll stop there for now.
That's such an important point that you make at the end. For those of you who don't know, Spotlight Initiative, essentially what we do is we take the best of what's working across the UN system and we weave it together in service to women and girls. And so when we have an RC with a vision, as these two RCs most definitely do, who can gather their UN country teams together and really say, hey, what's going to work in this context in service to women and girls, and who is best placed to help us to drive those solutions, irrespective of mandate, but really looking at capacities. That's what makes the most successful program, and I think you've got all of the building blocks in place for Sierra Leone to be an incredibly successful program. Carla, RC Samoa. Building a national movement to end violence against women and girls requires coordination across many actors. In Samoa, how have you fostered collaboration among government, United Nations agencies, and civil society to ensure that eliminating violence against women and girls is embedded in Samoa's national development agenda for years to come?
Well, thank you very much. And again, it's a real honor and a privilege to share the Samoa Spotlight experience. When we're addressing violence against women, we actually have come quite a long way in the last decade or so. And it really goes beyond just putting words into development policy documents or even holding consultations with women. We're now at a place where we want to talk about integrating mechanisms into systems that create opportunities for frequent interaction and really thoughtful practice on gender equality as the basis for prevention with different groups of all ages. And by doing that, Spotlight has actually given us the opportunity to not just raise awareness among youth, which is pretty standard for the program, but when we're talking about embedding it and making it part of the fabric of Samoan society, I think we found a winner. The University of Samoa, the curriculum, they've adopted a program called Family Life Education. And what that does is that it brings students and teachers, which are male and female, together regularly to have conversations on key prevention topics, such as what's a healthy relationship? What does it mean? What does it look like? Human rights, consent, and equality. And I think that that discussion becomes part of daily life. So that's how we're embedding it, and we're hoping it's going to stick.
Yeah. So that's amazing. And so Samoa is one of the programs that was part of our first wave of Spotlight Initiative investments, and actually was truly one of the shining stars of that first wave. But unfortunately, we did not manage to get funding in our second round yet for programming in Samoa, though we're very hopeful we will. What's been really interesting is that we recently did a study looking at all of our 32 programs that we had in our first phase, and we saw that in 97% of all of our programming, there were significant sustainability outcomes. And it really shows that when you have a comprehensive model like this, and you actually invest in that model in a way that's intentional and that orients it around national priorities and grounds it in civil society, the impact really can remain even when the funding is no longer there at the same level it was. At least that's the hope we have. Okay, moving on to question 2, and back to you, Seraphine. Sierra Leone's Spotlight Initiative program shows that eliminating violence against women and girls is not only a moral imperative, but also accelerates progress across many of the Sustainable Development Goals. From your perspective, how is investment in ending violence contributing to broader national priorities like education, health, and economic empowerment?
investing in ending violence is the real tool, I would say, which really cuts across sectors and can contribute to broader development priorities. Using Spotlight Initiative in Sierra Leone, we do see different ways of impacting on development, and I would just highlight three of them. One is on how this is impacting on education and health. You know, Spotlight Initiative, we are strengthening laws and institutions through capacity building for authorities and institutions. So when the authorities and institutions are capacitated, then delivery for social services will be easy. And that is the way we go for education and for health services. And we do see meaningful changes in those sectors. We see when we combat harmful social norms, and we allow girls and women to access services, they can then be capacitated and feel free and to invest in their life, and including those young girls who can now go to school freely without fear. And that is what we want to see, women living with no fear and ready to really show that they are equal to others in the community. So the efforts that we are making is also building resilient communities where women has a voice. We also invest in economic empowerment for women and giving them skills, resources for independence in terms of economy and financial. And when you feel capacitated in terms of financial means, then you also feel that you have space in the community. And so that is what we are doing for reducing vulnerabilities in the communities for women, so that women can also have voice when they are in their communities. And they can even feel heard by the men and the children, who will see that the mom can also invest and contribute to the life of the family. The third is on the global level and at the central level, at the government level, where we see embedding the intervention through policy and systems, so that we can also contribute globally on achieving the objectives of the National Development Plan and beyond the Sustainable Development Goals, which is our aim at the UN in the country. And also, we know that national development plans are aligned to the Sustainable Development Goals, and our own strategy, where Spotlight Initiative is also contributing. We will see more and more integrated approaches in our way of working, and we will be mainstreaming all the issues throughout the 3 pillars of our cooperation framework. So that's where we are doing, and that's how we really appreciate the Spotlight Initiative in Sierra Leone, and we see that the impact will be more and more as we implement the program. Thank you.
Fantastic. I mean, I think the ensuring this issue is embedded in national strategies is essential. It's actually non-negotiable, right? And also making the economic case, because we know that the elimination of violence against women and girls is a moral imperative, but it actually makes really good economic sense for countries as well. It's a development imperative as well. Okay, Carla, on to you. Question number 2. In Samoa, sport has been a powerful tool in eliminating violence against women and girls. Please tell us about your experience using sport to engage the Samoan community, especially men and boys, in eliminating violence against women and girls.
I believe that we all have been to sporting events, right? They can be very rambunctious, but exciting. and engaging. But have we ever really taken the time to notice what's happening around us? That teammates, coaches, and even the fans actually influence what's acceptable behavior at sporting events? Well, in Samoa, UN Women has partnered with the Ministry of Education and National Federation to turn that influence into a really positive force. And the idea is actually quite simple. Sports is universal. It is a setting where boys and men spend a lot of time together. So we can take the opportunity to weave messages about respect, equality, and nonviolence, into training and games. And this can really lift and shift attitudes without singling out any particular individual or group of people. So what does that actually look like in practice? Well, you got to train the coach, for example, but then the coach incorporates short conversations about consent, respectful behavior, and gender equality into practice sessions. You have local leagues that host sporting events that include anti-violence messaging. We also enlist trusted male role models to champion these values and mentor young people at these clubs. So moving that forward, though, the real goal here is to create a safe and inclusive sports environment where everyone, especially women and girls, can also participate as equals. And it also helps men to become active bystanders, to speak up when they see harassment or violence. And the program in Samoa really is excellent because it also takes advantage of local services. The clubs are connected to helplines and health services and justice services. And we measure attitudinal changes with a pre and post attitude survey to help us understand if we're really moving in the right direction. And why does it matter? Well, changing norms in sports can spread to families and communities, and reducing violence and really promoting healthier relationships overall. So I think the lesson for us here is that sports is a type of ecosystem. It's policies, people, and places, but it's not just a one-off campaign. Sports is for life, whether you're young or you're old. It engages communities, men, women, boys, and girls, and it's a terrific place in which to pass the right messages about what is acceptable behavior.
I fully agree. And actually, we have some amazing stories of impact on our website about some of the work that is happening in Samoa in just this area. I strongly encourage you to look at it. It's actually quite inspiring. I also had an opportunity. We've been developing a partnership with the International Olympic Committee, and I had a chance to meet with a young Olympian from Samoa who was a beneficiary of the Spotlight Initiative program. He runs a judo clinic, I believe, and he was just talking about how transformative the work was that he was able to do through the investment of Spotlight Initiative in Samoa as well. So I think these kind of non-traditional partnerships, again, it's not a one-off. These are kind of lifestyle investments or lifelong investments, and they're also just, frankly, a lot of fun. And you don't often use that word when talking about things like ending violence against women and girls. It feels like such a heavy topic, but when you can integrate things like sporting events and working with young people engaged in sports, it's actually quite meaningful and quite impactful and a really important effort. Okay, I'm on to my final question. This is for both of you. So, Serafine, you'll go first. In your leadership as United Nations resident coordinators, if you could share one message with other countries or communities working to end violence against women and girls, what would it be? And what solutions have you found work the best?
Based on the implementation of the Spotlight Initiative, the message I would give to everybody is believe in genuine partnership and community-led solutions. It is for us clear that to get to lasting solutions and change, it's not going to come from outside. It has to come from within and count on real participation and commitment, ownership of those who we are supposed to bring in solutions, because they are the ones who know what they want and where they want to go. So based on that, I would say the best solutions for Sierra Leone I see for now, I would say one, to engage and empower local leaders and influencers at the traditional level, because those are the ones who are going to really make the change. If their mindset are shifted, if they really support the program, we will see changes in the communities, because that is where it has to start. The leaders at the community level, if we miss it, then we miss the agenda of ending violence against women and girls. Because they are the ones who are all the time with them. And they are the ones to whom they listen more than the outsiders. So engaging and empowering local leaders and traditional influencers is key for Sierra Leone Spotlight. The second part is on evidence-based strategies. Most of the time we do implement projects, but we don't know where we are coming from and where we are going. So I would say collect data, analyze, to make sure that you know where you are starting from, so that at the end you will be able to measure how far you've gone. And also, maybe if you want to build on what you've done, then the generation to come will also build on what you have done. So those are my main messages I wanted to bring to this table, including adding to all of this, be more innovative and toward digitalization. I thank you.
Thank you. Over to you.
Well, I think that there's quite a few similarities in what we see in terms of what works. We've had a lot of experience now, and local ownership is definitely core to that. But also local ownership by women's organizations. And we can see that female leadership has also been really critical to the success of Spotlight and our ability to continue making progress towards gender equality, which is a goal. And Spotlight has also enabled us to share and nurture innovations that have led to stronger community engagement, culturally relevant interventions, and sustained commitments to end the violence against women and girls. But what we really have learned here is that prevention works, there is no doubt. And it is particularly effective when we link it to education, livelihoods, sports, and that we're really engaging those community leaders. So my message is to invest in prevention, not so much reaction, because we want to keep moving forward, and prevention is the way. And we want to continue to build trust. We need to fund women's organizations. We need to engage men and boys and make equality a shared national value, which is basically part of the daily fabric of life in all the countries we serve, to end the violence against women and girls. Yeah.
I couldn't agree more. That's really beautifully said, both of you, and actually resonates so strongly with the findings from our sustainability study that showed that investment in local leadership, that intentional orientation of our programs at the local level, which actually is the leadership that's the least inclined to change with political wins, right? That leadership, whether it be traditional leaders or even, local district officials, they often stay in place. and the deep intentional investments in women's rights organizations. That is what is continuing to sustain the gains made even when the programs close. So beautifully said. And the shared value. No one wants violence in their communities. This is a shared value in every single community, in every country, no matter our political beliefs. We all share the value of ending violence against women and girls. And if we come from that understanding, we come from that shared understanding, a lot can actually be accomplished. We have 4 minutes. I don't know if there's a question in the audience. No? Okay. Then I think we will wrap up there. Thank you all so much. Thank you online, and a huge thank you to these two fantastic leaders for your time and your amazing advocacy on behalf of women and girls in your countries and around the world. Thank you so much.